Okay, I'm winging it in this demo with the Gelli Plate. I'm going to do a number of different things here. I'm going to add some retarding agent to my Van Dyke Brown, but before I go to printing, I'm going to take these leftover file folder scraps. I'm just going to randomly glue these on a sheet of paper. I'm not even thinking about composition really. I just want to see what I can get. And this was inspired by Jeannie's piece because she had glued down a piece of paper to, I don't want to say disguise a mistake, I'll say incorporate. And I thought, well, that could be fun. Now, I hope these stick. Normally, I would have done this ahead of time. Mod Podge would probably be better, right? Okay, you know what? I'm going to put a weight on top of this while I roll out my paint. Okay. So first I'm going to mix that open retarding agent in there to slow the drying time. Trying to get this even. I'm adding this green. I just can't stand it. I don't want just this brown. Okay, now I'm going to push this down. I'm just going to roll on top of this to hopefully get a good impression. Oh dear. Okay, well, see, the pieces of paper aren't, they're not completely glued yet. Okay, so I've got a little bit of an impression there. I don't know how much is going to show up because this is my first round of inking. The paper's even kind of interesting with some of the pieces stuck and others not. I'll hang on to that. I don't know if I'm going to get a good print from this. Probably not enough ink. May try to pull another one. Okay, I'm going to do it on the back of this print. Yeah, there's just not enough ink there. So sometimes you got to build up enough layers your first go around. So let me do this again. One more time. Actually, that's kind of cool with those pieces overlapping. Let me see what that does. Okay, so this is on back of another print. I think I just need to get enough ink built up on here, but I like this shadowy effect that it's creating. So you could, and we were sort of talking about that, Louise, build up a texture plate with cut pieces of cardboard or your joint compound. Okay, now I'm going to fiddle with this thing. So here's my actual plate. So I'm still in trial and error. I mean, yeah, no, R&D, research and development. That's what phase I'm in. Okay. So brayering directly either onto paper or this texture that I've built up. This is pretty cool, actually. I'm rolling a little bit more ink deliberately in that area, less in others. Okay, I'm kind of into this. All right, so then this is more of a mixed media thing, but I could bring in some charcoal pencil. So this is that water-soluble graphite. Okay, damp brush. So Judith, you asked, like, what would I do with this one? It may be that more layers are needed until something emerges that I feel like I can add more to. So I'm looking at this. There's enough of a structure. I've got opaque areas, transparent areas. And I could start building up more paint on this. Somebody needs to mute themselves. It's kind of both a print and a painting. So now I'm still playing with globbing thicker paint. I'm doing a little dry brush here. So if playing with low level dimension seems intriguing to you, you could just, cut up some little file folders, build up some surface, print. Now this print, there's some interesting things going on there, but I would like to pull more. If I was going to build on that, I would pull a few more. Okay. Next, let's see. What were some of the other questions? Oh, okay. So yeah, Judith, you just said, well, or maybe Jeannie, I'm afraid, what if I add too much and I ruin it? Okay.
No, yeah, I didn't say that.
Okay. So
I think that was me. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take one that I really don't care about, and I'm going to just try and see how far I can push it. Okay. And I could do some by direct rolling on here or doing more jelly printing. So I'm going to pick one that, this one, I just don't really care about it. And I'm going to do more jelly printing on there. And I'm just going with the colors that I've laid out. It might look really terrible. I have no idea. Again, this is sort of along the lines of the ugly painting. Okay, I'll pick one that's, ugly. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to randomly, let's see. Okay, I'm going to scrape out. I'm looking at areas I might want to keep. Maybe I want to keep that. And then I'll just do I'm just going to randomly see what appears. Okay, and I'm going to try and line it up as best I can. Almost like putting a wash on there, right? Okay, so it's moodier, and this is interesting. Okay, and because that's open, I can manipulate the paint. I have a longer manipulation time. So I'm just a wet brush and I'm going to move some of that paint around. All right. I'm going to try and obliterate some more because I mean it's a little bit better, but all right. So now this is not open, but I'm going to go directly on here, and I'm going to work faster since it's not open. Okay. And if this was something I really liked, I would put a registration tool around the edge so all my colors line up, but this is really more of a test. Okay, see, something interesting is happening there now. And this is interesting. I'm going to take this other print on paper, I'm going to put it on top there and see what I get. Some of these I'll like and some I won't, but that's kind of cool. I might continue to work on that painting.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of back and forth. I've got painting going on, printing going on. I call it print painting, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. So what's hard about printmaking are there these reversals. So what I'm looking at is like, okay, I'm going to cover up that area. I kind of have to estimate where that's going to be. Okay, it's getting more interesting to me. I like the addition of that blue. Once again, try and pick up some of that blue I just put down. Okay, softening it. I like it a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to directly roll some paint on here. So what you get with the Gelli Plate is this immediate feedback, immediate color interaction. So I put that on there. I'm kind of like, I don't know, kind of blah. I can scrape it out. Again, back to this water-soluble graphite that when I come back in July, I'd like people to get this and we can play with it more. So it's printing, it's painting, and it's drawing. It's all of it. Okay, again, damp, just a wet brush to liquefy that. Graphite. Okay, so something's going on in there. I've got an interesting space. I've got more contrast from where I started. This, I'm not going to do it today, but if I let this dry on here and then put, I think I'll let it dry and maybe I'll come back and record again, put another coat of paint, like let's say I put a pink on there, something contrasting, and then pulled a print. All of this dry paint should come up with it. Okay, let me come back. Okay, I'm back. I forgot one other thing. Okay, so it's using that leftover paint on your palette paper. And there's a number of things. You can just directly use the leftover paint and just roll it on. It could be canvas, piece of paper, and just see what you're going to get. Usually by the end of painting, you're all kind of warmed up, and so hopefully you kind of don't care. See, this is interesting to me. This is an interesting surface. Okay, then I'm going to take the palette paper, put it right down, and I like to use my fingernails and just kind of scratchy, and get some of that paint off, then rotate it around. If I use the flat of my nail going forward, I'm going to get a wider mark. I can also use back of a paintbrush or a stick. So this is directly painting, which some of you have been doing. So if you didn't, let's say you didn't have a Gelli Plate, you could just print this way. Okay, so just using that paint, and then this becomes an interesting background I could use for something. I could use a section of it. Maybe I don't feel done with it. The next time I paint, I could just keep adding more until something emerges that I like. Okay, third time's the charm. Oops, I'm not supposed to have people's images up there. All right. Okay. What if I want to do some of that little scratchy stuff, almost like my own carbon paper, but in a specific section of a canvas? So here's an idea. Get a little bit of paint. I'm just doing a random roll here. Okay. Then I find, trying to find a print where there'll be enough contrast. Okay, so let's say I pick this, and then trying to figure out where I want to put it. Let's say I want to do some texturizing right there. I'm going to do this with a pencil. So I'm transferring that paint to a specific section of a painting or a print. Fingers crossed. Okay, so it does work. Okay, then I can keep, you know, if I want more, then I just keep. I think I'm running out of paint. Yeah, running out of paint. But I think you get the idea. I could transfer in a small section. If I run out of paint, I could just roll some more on there and keep going. So I have more control in a specific area.